Hey guys, welcome. Most of us use either a MacBook or a Windows PC. There's no default setting to access GPU. In my opinion, the best way to have GPU access is to rent a machine in the cloud. So today I'm gonna walk you through how to set up a virtual machine with GPU in AWS. We'll do this following 3 steps. First of all, we'll create a GPU EC2 instance in AWS console page. And next, we'll go to terminal and verify that we can SSH into the instance and the instance is as expected. And lastly, we'll connect VS Code with GPU instance and set up our development environment. With that, let's get started. Okay, let's start with the first step, is to create an EC2 instance in the AWS console. Basically, we are heading to the EC2 page where you click Launch Instance. When you click Launch Instance, it will show you a page for you to specify the config that you want for your machine. I would just pick a random name, maybe just call it testing. Maybe just testing dev, something like that. And then I will choose the OS. Usually I choose some Linux OS. It doesn't really matter here, but usually you want to choose some Linux VM. And then there's this instance type. If you want to choose GPU VM, you need to figure out, maybe look up which Amazon instance has GPU. So I did the work before, so right now, I did the work online, I did a Google search. Basically, this is the smallest, cheapest T4 VM. This is G4, I think. T4D and X large. The cheapest one is less than $1 per hour. I'll just choose this one. So now you have this info here. It says key pair. This is where you want to create a key pair. What is this used for? It is particularly useful if you want to SSH into your instance. I'm gonna create one, just call it testing dev keys. Testing dev key is what I'm gonna call it. So you click create key pair. Actually, Amazon will download this key pair to your local. So that's all you need to do. You can do more other config to specify your storage, but I'm just gonna leave it here. So right now, there's a summary of your instance. It tells you about your OS, what kind of instance type you have, resources. Let's get started. We'll just launch instance right now. So you see mine is launching instance right away. But in your case, you probably will have an error that says you need to request quota. And when you request quota, it's basically telling AWS that which part of the area you want to launch your instance, and they will increase your quota. One thing to notice here is that the quota is all based on region. For example, in my case, here you can say US West 1. This is a region where I created my instance. The quota is per region. For example, here, my quota, if I only can create in US West 1, I can't create in other region because I only have quota in this region. Okay, with all that, we now create an instance. Actually, before that, you want to confirm your instance is created. Wow. So here, you have this status check. You can see it's initializing. We'll wait for this to be running. So actually, when you look at this page, it shows some metrics about your instance. The instance state is running. It's doing some status check. But right now, since it's running already, we can SSH into our instance. let's get started with the SSH step. You should look into this public IPv4 DNS. This will be your host name for your when you configure your SSH. Configure your SSH config. So what you do is like to configure your host name. So mine will be like this. I need to make sure this is where your downloaded key should be. Okay, we have downloaded the causes testing.dev.pem. And to move it to this location. So move it to SSH. You also need to give it permission. So with that all done, you should be able to SSH into your instance right now. Actually, before that, let's change the naming a little bit. Just call it testing dev. Correct naming a little bit. And then let's try to SSH into our instance. So it asks you, are you sure you want to continue? Of course, you say yes. Now you are able to SSH into your instance. So the next thing you want to verify is that, do you really have a GPU? Do you really have the CPU you want? You can do this by the following command. Here's the way I usually check memory. So right now we can see that our machine has 15 gigabytes of memory, and then it also has 4 CPUs. So as you can see here, we have 1 T4 GPU. Next step, we'll look into how to connect with a VM, with our VM instance from VS Code. Let's connect our VM instance with our VS Code so that we can code from local, but actually running the code in the virtual machine. What you need to do is download this extension called Remote SSH. So it's this one. I have installed it. You can install it yourself. So after you install it, you should Command Shift P, and it says connect host. So you click connect host, and then you see this is the It will automatically read your .ssh config file and read your host name. This is what we just defined. So I'll click here to create a new window for your VM. So as you can see right now, we're at our new window. You can right now edit and create a new folder in your remote setup. That's it.